was halfway through this video and realized that I didn't even have my microphone on. And then I tried it again and realized that I didn't push play. Have you ever just been coasting through life and randomly this opportunity was presented to you? Something you wasn't even looking for that was potentially life-changing. Since I was a kid, I've always wanted to be an Olympic swimmer. I always wanted to join a swim team, but the opportunity just never presented itself. My schools never had a swim team. It just never happened. So I went to college and I would swim in their pool like all the swim team practices. I would swim laps because it's a great exercise. It's therapeutic for me and all that. And so the swim team coach approached me and basically scouted me to try out for the team because he just really thought that I had potential. Child, I said, okay, fine. I obliged. I'm like, oh wow, this is so crazy. Like, I've always wanted to do this. I didn't think that I'd ever be able to do it. And now the opportunity is here. I went to the interview to be a lifeguard, not join the swim team, my bad. So I went through the interviews, passed, I got in, then I passed virtual exam. Then it was time for the physical tryout because it was gonna be like this long ass like Baywatch style training that summer before the new semester or whatever. I did everything right. The last thing that I needed to do was water tread with no hands. I had never heard that before. I'm like, wait, that's a thing? Obviously, tried it. I had the water tread with no hands for 5 minutes, did not do it. I did not make the lifeguarding staff. I was devastated. I was embarrassed. I was discouraged. I felt like I failed and wasted my time. And with all that being said, what was the point of that?
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I just felt like God was playing with me. It's like he was dangling this in my face and was like, psych. I like to think that that was confirmation that I am so close to what I have been begging God for in life. And same to you. If you went through something similar, you got so close to something and you felt like, well, damn, what was the point of that? It's confirmation that you are so close to what you are really meant to have. And that opportunity was really a bullet dodged. One time, I was really just so defeated about an opportunity that I was this close to getting. But when I face rejection now, I always think back to the same person that rejected me, gave me so many encouraging words, that she really saw so much potential in me. And I felt like God was talking to me through her by telling me, like, don't give up, like you're so close. Because despite the sting of that rejection, you know deep down that a better opportunity is coming, and you were honestly just too advanced for that opportunity that you didn't get. It's like you were really settling for what you really have the potential to gain. You have to stay focused on the path that you're going down and tune out all the noise, aka negative thoughts. And how do you do that? I'll get to that in a second. But before I address the tips on negativity, let me get into loneliness for a second. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes I need a hug, like a real genuine hug. Because following a path that you know that you were born to follow, which is not easy to even take the first step in that direction, it's going to be so lonely and full of hardships and full of like just these crazy tests and basically just isolation. Isolation is often misunderstood. It's like we're being planted, and what happens to a plant or a flower when it's planted, when it's taken care of, it grows. We have to let God water us. And while doing that, we have to build a relationship with him. You know what I'm saying? Like meditate. And by meditate, you don't have to be like on a mad crisscross applesauce like or while you're driving to school or work. You can be having a conversation with God. You know what I mean? And of course, like getting into your word, and it's something that I'm working on with the Bible and stuff like that. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hard for me to like just sit down and read the Bible. I have to like watch videos about like different scriptures and stuff like that. I'm a very visual person. But there's also a difference between like isolation and just purposely being antisocial. And you may ask, well, what's the difference? Don't force anything and don't overthink. And you may say, well, that's better said than done. I definitely get it. So me, for example, I am definitely an ambivert. I can be the life of the party, and then the next minute I'm awkward and shy. So my social battery runs out faster some days than others. I'm someone who really feels like what's meant for me is going to effortlessly happen. I'm not going to feel the need to force anything or overthink it. You literally can't mess up what's meant to, like, who is meant to come into your life and the opportunities that's meant to come into your life. So if I see someone at Starbucks that I think is attractive and I just don't feel like talking to them, if it's meant for us to meet, they're gonna talk to me, or we're gonna be in a situation to where we're just gonna naturally just start talking to each other. Now, tips on how to overcome negative thoughts. What I've been doing currently for the past couple of years is really just getting in tune with nature. And that's so crazy to me. I never considered myself like a nature guy. I like tropical nature, but as far as like rural nature, that's not my thing. But the sun just recharges me. It's really hard to explain. It's like really good for your mental health and just your soul, you know what I'm saying? And like just laying out in the sun and just like, meditating, aka just talking to God. It's just a chef's kiss for me. Another thing is being connected to the earth. So being barefoot and walking outside in the grass and just letting the soles of your feet just like connect with the earth. According to the Bible, we're made from the earth anyways. So just like connecting with it, it's like a recharge. I'm sure you've heard this 100 times, but you may need to take a break from social media. I don't feel like I need to do that right now. But if you feel like everything that you're looking at, you're comparing yourself, or you feel like you're missing out, you may have to just take a break from social media and find a different hobby, whether that be reading or exercising or, journaling. Because a lot of times, like, social media is a beautiful thing. You learn a lot, you know what I'm saying? And like, you see a lot of things that you may never, see in person as far as different locations and experiences. But obviously, social media can have its negative sides of us comparing ourselves to other people, and we don't want to do that because it can distract us from our purpose. Another thing that really helps me is when I remember the things that I have now that I once prayed for. And that reminds me that just stay focused on the path and everything will naturally work out the way that it needs to. We have to also know that we're not alone. And whether that means, reminding ourselves that we have people in our lives that love us, they may not understand us, but they love us. And we do have to like kind of look, kind of, what's the word? Not be too harsh on them for not understanding us. They want what's best for us. They just don't understand our purpose. And they're not supposed to because they have their own purpose that we don't understand and it's not for us to understand and vice versa. A lot of times we feel so alone. We want to like just share everything that we're thinking to someone just to have because we're alone. We're so lonely. But man, look, I'm practicing on this too. We gotta just like keep certain things to ourselves, and when we feel like we need to just share it, talk to God about it. And probably the most important tip is after every rejection, hold your head higher and higher. Do not, do not accept defeat. And I'm telling myself that too because I just recently got rejected for something that I was so close to getting that I felt like was going to change my life forever. I literally was so close and it just didn't happen out of the blue. And I just didn't know what went wrong because like the people really liked me. And the process was going on for about 3 months. And out of the blue, they were like, "We're so sorry, we loved you, but we're gonna go with someone else." And I just couldn't understand, like, okay, you guys really liked me, but you didn't pick me. I don't understand. And I low key took some risks myself for this, and it didn't happen. And just because you may take risks for something doesn't mean that it's obligated to happen to. And it's something that I had to kind of like make terms with, or like, yeah, you have to be natural and let things naturally unfold. We can't take isolation into our own hands either. Don't overthink it. Don't purposely isolate yourself. If you're like a more introverted person, I'm not saying to go to parties and bars and concerts, but do something that you're more comfortable with, whether that's going to a coffee shop, the beach, a park, somewhere that's public, that's like out in the world. So put your stuff out there. You're gonna go to these places looking for something to happen, but you're gonna naturally stop looking for something to happen sooner or later, and that's when everything is gonna start unfolding for the best. The moment we let go is when life happens. So I hope this video helps, and I'll see y'all next time.